Good morning and welcome to the chaos. It is Sunday morning and I actually have a quiet house for once. So we're going to just do a little bit of a casual video today. First, introductions, because I always forget those. I'm Kristen. I'm the owner and maker of Cheerful Chaos Crafts. And I make crochet plushies, safety eyes, stitch markers, stabby sticks, and all things crochet related. I also have a 3D printer that I have been fiddling with and learning new things about and started doing some things with. So I make yarn bowls like this one. This is my personal one because it didn't do the swirl right in the middle, so I just keep this one for me, but I figured out how to make it do that right on future ones. So this is my mushroom yarn bowl, and I also make stitch marker charms on the 3D printer, some of the eggs to hold things, other kinds of containers, stuff that's D&D related, dice towers and stuff. I'm just having fun printing a whole bunch of stuff. And then this week I've been practicing some new things that will come up as we go along. So for today, for this week's this week's video, I'm just going kind of casual. I have a pile of things that need to be tagged and put into their respective market bags. I have a market coming up, gosh, next weekend. Yeah, 7 days. Oh my goodness. Next weekend, I have the South Alabama Comic-Con. I've never done this one before. It's being hosted by VX5 Events, which is the same event coordinator that hosted the Mississippi card show that I did earlier this summer. They also do a Comic-Con and an anime fest here in Mississippi that I have applied to but not gotten into. But now that this will be the second show I've gotten into them with them, I have hopes that next year maybe my name will be higher up on the list. So fingers crossed. Maybe I'm getting my foot in the door. So I have a show next weekend, the Comic-Con, and I have plushies that have been made and just sitting in bags waiting to have tags put on them. So that is what we're going to do today together. So I can talk to you about my prices for things. If you're wondering how I price things, I have a video actually dedicated to that. It's called Business Basics Pricing. And if I can figure out how to do the cards, I'll link that somewhere so that you guys can go click on that if you're interested in how I get to what my prices are. But you can at least get an idea, as I show you things. And we'll tag them, and I'll tell you about the pattern and the plush and the pattern designer if it was designed by somebody other than me, and we'll just have a casual, just a chatty good time. So some of these you've seen before. I've already had them in this week's makes videos because they've been sitting in this bag for longer than a week waiting for a tag. Like this little lady right here. I talked about her in my dolls video. This is the Kaylin Canvas, what is her name? Petals, Posy Petals? Can't remember now. But it's a Kaylin Canvas pattern, and she's a little fairy, a little flower fairy. So for these little ones, they are going to be $35. So my tags, my method of tagging things, I have a box full of business cards that I created on Canva. So it's got my logo, name, and just a little brief description down there on the front, and a QR code on the back that takes to my link tree, which has all my links on it. So I use my business card, a bunch of hole in the corner. Oh, and the business cards themselves are actually printed as one whole business card. Let me grab the other one so I can show you. So it's printed like this as a whole business card, and I just have it double-sided with a stripe down the middle on the back, and I cut them apart so that way I get double out of my order. So I can order 100, but I'm actually getting 200 tags. So just saves a little money that way. Plus, I just don't need that much real estate. I don't need the whole business card's worth of, space. And then I have these. So I punch a hole in my business tag, and then I have these labels from Avery, multi-use labels, handwrite only, stick, stay, and remove cleanly. The Avery number is 5412. So if you're interested in those, they're tiny. They're little tiny things, just little tiny stickers. I only bought the one package, and I've been using the same package for months, for over a year, because it's 100 sheets in there, and then each sheet has No, it's 100 labels per sheet. Yeah, 1,100 tiny stickers. So, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of little stickers. So I put it in the top corner of my tag. You can't see it because it's white on white, but it's harder to write on this material. So that gives me a space that's easier to write on. And also, if I ever want to change the price on something, I can peel that label off and restick another one without, having scratched out writing all over the tag or having to throw away the tag and get a whole new one. It's also handy if sometimes people return the tags to me after they purchase things, and then I can just reuse that tag. So there we go. There's the first little girl, 35. I think I have one more of her in here in this bag. Let me see. Yes. So one more of her, almost exactly the same. I use that ombre yarn, so there's slight differences, but they're almost exactly the same. So we'll do another $35 tag for her. Again, that's cable and canvas. Something petals. Posy petals? I can't remember. My brain is not working. It is early. I haven't had coffee yet. Not that you guys care, but I started taking a new thyroid medication a few months ago because my thyroid is not working the way it should. And it's a pretty common medicine. A lot of people take it. Synthroid is what it's called. The brand name. I have the generic levothyroxine. Yeah. But you're supposed to take it early in the morning, or I guess it doesn't really matter what time you take it, but you're supposed to take it and then not eat or drink anything else for half an hour. So I tend to take mine first thing in the morning. One, so I don't forget. It's just sitting on my bathroom counter and I can take it, not worry about it. And then two, because I usually don't eat breakfast, that's the easiest time for me to skip food, but it also means I can't have coffee yet. So I haven't had any coffee yet. All of that to say, all of that personal information that you probably don't care about, to say that I haven't had any coffee yet. So if I say things really silly, that is why. Let me do my mic check. Yes, we're still green. Okay, battery's still good. All right, next up in this little bag, I'll do the smaller things first. I have three. Yes, I have shown these to you guys before. 3 little ghosts. I already have one tagged. 3 little ghosts. These are $25. And these are the Blue Paw Print Studios, I believe is what it's called. If I'll have the name up on the screen for these guys. So, but this is her Will-O-Wisp pattern, but they make really cute little ghosts too. So I have 3 of these, and these are going to be 25. Oh my goodness, like fuzz all over them. Let me grab a couple of cards for them. Punch some holes. Now I haven't decided if I'm going to take these little ghosts. I'll probably take these ghosts to Comic-Con, but the rest of the stuff that's in there, I'm going to save for Renfest, because that's primarily what I made it for. So the first bit of stuff that's in this bag, that's stuff I've already shown you guys, it's all Ren Fair stuff. It's all like pixies and goblins, fantasy creatures. But then I have another pile of stuff over here on the couch that is all the stuff I've made this week that is specifically for Comic-Con, and it will be going with me. I just haven't decided yet about taking the ghosts. I mean, it's pre-Halloween, so it would make sense to have ghosts, wouldn't it? I'll take them. I'll take them. It can't hurt. Can't hurt. I'm not gonna have a whole lot of space since it is Comic-Con. I'll be indoors. I have like a 6-foot table, but the lower price things are always good to have. Usually at bigger events like Comic-Cons, I generally sell almost out of my $20, $25, and $45 items, and 35. Although I don't have as many that just sit right in that weird little pocket. I do sell a lot of the bigger things too, but I almost sell out of the 25, 35, 45 range stuff. Okay, so the ghosts. All right, next, let's see. What else do I have multiples of in here? Well, these are all going to be the same price regardless, but I'll just show them off in combinations. Okay, so these, again, you've seen these before. These are my little goblins. These are Madeline Mako. I'm trying not to bump my microphone. So I have 4 of these guys, again, using that ombre yarn, so they all came out just a little bit different. So we have this little girl, and this little girl, and this little guy, and this little guy. And these are all 45. Let's get some tags for them. And like I said, if you want to know how I got to my price points, I have a whole video explaining that. But the formula itself is pretty simple. It's cost of materials times 3. Hourly rate plus a percentage for sales tax or fees, depending on where I'm listing it. And I have a spreadsheet that handles all that math for me, so I don't have to mentally figure it out every time. But what I do have to do is, the first time I'm making a doll, I have to time myself making it, and I have to, I have too many hole punchies in my hole puncher. Okay, I have to time myself making it, and I have to weigh it so that I know how much material exactly that I have used, and I have to mark all that down, and I keep it on a spreadsheet. But that way I only have to do each type of doll once. Like, I didn't have to do that every time for each of these goblins. I did it like the first time or the second time, depending on if I remember to the first time, and marked that down on my spreadsheet. So now I know from now until forever, until, you know, materials change drastically or something, then a goblin is going to be $45. And I don't change their prices based on whether or not they sell quickly. If they don't sell very quickly, I just chalk that up to being an item that wasn't very popular. I'm still not going to change its price. It'll find its owner eventually, but I may not make any more of those if they don't sell quickly. So I've already got several of these goblins, but these are for the Ren Fair, and it's a 2-day market. So I'm hoping these will do well. I have a bunch of them. But if they don't sell at the Ren Fair, then I'm not going to make them for a good long while until I get them all sold. And then I will probably only make 1 or 2 at a time. But I really hope they sell well. Just go ahead and grab the last 2 little girls. So these are also going to be 45, so I'll just go ahead and show these. These were also, I showed these in my doll video, and these are a combination of Madeline Mayco and my own modding. So Madeline Mayco has a pattern, several patterns that have these sort of dangly legs, and I really like that. So I just took one of them. I think it may have been the voodoo doll pattern, or it may have been the mushroom, little magnolia mushroom pattern. But I did like primarily the body, arms, and legs out of that with just color changes. And then I created this hat inspired by the cable and canvas hat, but I made it, a good bit bigger to fit, and added this little petal skirt, again inspired by the cable and canvas pattern, but my own stitch count and all that. So that's these 2 girls, also 45. A lot of things this size tend to be 45. It usually just means that it took me about an hour to make, maybe slightly more than an hour, and then materials like this amount of materials. There are some things that took me an hour and a half-ish to make, but if they're much bigger and take a lot more materials, then obviously they're going to cost more. But oh yeah, so I was talking about the spreadsheet. Sorry, you can tell I'm tired. I have not, I am always tired, but I haven't had my coffee yet, so my brain's not on all cylinders just yet. But I was talking about my spreadsheet that I use that does all my math for me, so I don't have to, because I don't want to trust my own brain to do the math. I'm fairly certain I'll get it wrong a lot of the time, and I don't want to do that, because then I'll either be cheating myself or cheating my customers, and can't have that. So I have a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is also linked in the description of that video that talks about the pricing. So if you are interested in pricing your items the way that I price mine, I've got a video explaining how to use it, how to do it, and the spreadsheet itself is free for you to use. It's very simple. The math is all laid out. The only thing you would have to change on it is if your state sales tax is different from my state sales tax, you'd have to change the percentage in that particular column so that it can multiply out your sales tax for you correctly. But everything else should work for anyone else. It's only the sales tax that would be different. Okay, that's the last two of previous makes. Now, after I get these two tags on, we'll start going through the stuff that I have made this week. So this will all be new stuff for you guys. And I even have some exciting to me anyway, stuff to show you of a pattern that I designed over the past couple of weeks and finally got released this past week. And I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys are too, because I feel like it's going to be a great little market make. All right, so that's the last of the goblins, and all of these guys are going to be going to Ren Fair. Now, stuff I made this week. I'm going to start with the biggest one. This was actually also the most recent one. I just made her day before yesterday. And that is Wednesday. She already has a tag because I didn't want to forget what my calculations were for. So this is Wednesday. This is a Madeline Mako pattern. This is one of her older patterns. So this I think is on maybe her archive patterns website. I know that it is on her Patreon, which is where I got it. So if you are one of her Patreons, this pattern is available there. But like I said, this is the older one. It's much bigger. She's made a new one this past year that I know is available through Patreon, and it's a good bit smaller than this one. And that was the one I originally thought I was making, but I opened up the wrong pattern by mistake, and I got to the point of attaching the legs onto the body before I realized that it was the wrong pattern. And I was already that far along, so I just decided to finish her. And I think she turned out super adorable. This pattern is very easy. So if you saw my dolls video last week, I was talking about some of the things that make dolls a little bit more accessible for beginners if you haven't made them before. And this pattern, or any of Madeline Mako's patterns, is definitely going to be one of those for you, because you crochet in the legs, you crochet in the arms, it goes from the body up through the head. The only thing really sewing on for this one was the wig cap and the collar. Everything else is color changes and crocheted in, and a little bit of surface crochet on the legs to give the boots that little top part. So, and she's just adorable. But she's going to be 75. She did took me over a little over an hour and a half, hour 45 about that, and a lot of materials. Most of us gain a brunette in black for her body, and then a little bit of the Parfait Just Chanel Basics. No, not Just Chanel. Premier Basics Chenille Brights in shell. I swear I've had a stroke. Okay, so Wednesday Adams, $75. She's already tagged, so I'll just go ahead and put her in the bag. Next, a lot of these are going to be by the same designer, but for pretty much the entire rest of the week up until I did Wednesday, I did only Pokemon. Lots and lots of Pokemon. So I started with this guy, and these patterns that I'm going to show you first are all by erinsyarnimals. It's her chubby Pokemon series. So we started with Boysenberry, is what she calls this guy. This is Chubby Gengar. I call him my Potato Mon when people ask. They're just adorable. This is Gengar, and he has felt details on his face. The rest of them are going to have something a little different, but I'll show you that in a minute. But all of the erinsyarnimals come out to $45 for me. Some of them take a little bit longer than others, but it's all close enough that I just average it all out and meet in the middle of 45. So let's put a tag on Gengar. And I use, I didn't show you, I use little stitch markers that look like little safety pins to hold my tags on. They're very cheap. You can get like 1,000 pack of them for like less than $10 on Amazon or something. Um, I don't, it may even be cheaper than that. The last time I got them, it was as a gift from a friend for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I'm still working through that pile. So, Chubby Gengar, 45. Erinsyarnimals. The next one by Erinsyarnimals. I don't remember exactly which order I did these in, so I'm just going to grab as I go. But so the next one, Erinsyarnimals, I did a Dragonite, a Chubby Dragonite. This one has a little bit more sewing than the Gengar did, so it's going to be a little bit more time involved in that because you sew on his nose, you sew on his head spike, you sew on his wings, and you sew on his tail. So a little bit more sewing, but not much. And I don't mind sewing. So Chubby Dragonite, 45. Now here's different from him. This was my first try at doing 3D printed eyes instead of the felt eyes. This particular design I've since made a little bit bigger than this. I like them to be kind of big and cartoony, but these aren't bad. These turned out okay. So 3D printed eyes. That was my first try. And you can tell in the first ones that they're not perfect. I've done some changes to them since then, but you can kind of see the marks, the lines where the printer goes. So they're kind of gives them like a fuzzy look. But honestly, it doesn't look any different, very much different to me than felt. And it's a lot easier than doing the felt. I still just left them flat and glued them on like you would a felt eye. And they're thin enough that that works just fine. And the hot glue has a tendency to sort of melt into the plastic a little bit. So I don't have any worries about those coming off because the glue is melted into the plastic and then it also sort of melts into the yarn a little bit. So you're not going to get these off without completely destroying the plush. I mean, it's still capable of coming off, but again, you destroy the plush doing it. Same as with safety eyes. So I don't have a problem with that. So then next we have classic Pikachu. And these again are 3D printed eyes for Pikachu. These are a little bit thicker than the previous ones, as you can see, and a little bit smoother. So I was kind of tweaking the settings and getting things working a little bit better. And I really like how these turned out. I wound up printing a bunch of these in case I needed them. So $45 for Chubby Pikachu. I think she calls this one Big Lemon on her website, Erinsyarnimals. She has them all named after like fruits and gemstones, and things like that. A couple of them have like names. Like Dragonite, I think she calls Dwight. And Charizard, what does she call Charizard? He has a name. Can't remember. And then like the starters, the Kanto starters are like Cole and Carl and Eddie. So some of them have like people names, some of them have animal or fruit names, and some of them have like gemstone names. This is Big Lemon. She has two different Pikachu patterns. She has Lemon, Big Lemon. The one that is Lemon is a Pikachu. It's like this small. It's a good bit smaller than this. So I stick with Big Lemon because he is the same size as the other guys. All right, next by Erinsyarnimals, we have Psyduck. I cannot for the life of me remember what she calls this one. Maybe Waddles or something, but Psyduck. So then this one's another one that has a little bit of sewing. The nose gets sewed on, the feet get sewed on, the tail gets sewed on. But again, it doesn't really take that much time, and I don't mind sewing. Checking my mic again. Yes, we're still on. Okay. And another 3D printed eyes. These are the same eyes actually as the Pikachu eyes. I just reversed the colors. And I think they turned out perfect. Absolutely perfect. And kitty, don't climb on my stuff, please. Don't want you over there. Go find somewhere else to cuddle up. Thank you. Okay, Psyduck. All tagged and ready to go. Last of the Erinsyarnimals that I did this week, Snorlax. You sew on the feet for him, sew on the ears for him, but everything else is worked in around. And he does not have 3D printed eyes because he's, sleepy. So I just embroidered his eyes. What does she call Snorlax? It's not Snorlax, obviously. Remember. But you should definitely check your website out if you want some cute Pokemon patterns that are not like straight on the Pokemon. If you want something that's a little bit more off to the side, a little bit more Pokemon inspired, that's one of the reasons I like them. Also, they're all very simple. A lot of the bodies follow the same general shape, and then it's the additions to it that make it the Pokemon that it is. So they whip up pretty quickly. I think I can generally make one of these in about 45 minutes. They're all less than an hour for me. So these are great market makes, and they fit right into the $45 range. Okay, next, that was the last of the erinsyarnimals. So next is the last one I have from a designer other than myself. And this is the one I've actually had in my Pinterest, not my Instagram. My Instagram saves for a long time because it's on Instagram as a free pattern. Although the pattern itself is not on Instagram, you follow the link in the bio to her coffee shop, and then she's got a post that has the pattern, and she has several other free patterns there as well. This is Baby Mimikyu by Just Yarny on Instagram and Coffee. So Coffee is the shop where you want to actually find the pattern. And this turned out so adorable. Like, I love the shaping. I cannot believe this is a free pattern. This is amazing for a free pattern. This is so good. 3D printed eyes again, so I could get the little swirlies. And I think they turned out just perfect. I don't think this doll could have turned out as good as it did without them. And then I embroidered the blush and the little face, and then Mimikyu's real eyes down there. And it's got the little, the ragged edge to the sack that it's wearing. Just cute, just adorable. And the way this tail is done, I love the way this tail is done. It's different from any other like Pikachu shaped tail that I've done. Usually, let me grab the other Pikachu. Usually, they're like this one, where they're just back and forth in rows, which is totally fine. I mean, this turns out great, right? Like, this looks perfect, just back and forth in rows, but you usually have more ends to hide. And it's thin, obviously, since it's just one flat piece. This had you working in the rounds, and I'm not going to like give away her secrets, but the way she did the shaping of this was incredible. And it's enclosed. It's still like, it's two pieces. You could stuff it if you wanted. I didn't, because I like it kind of flat. But so all the ends are hidden in there like you would with regular plushies. You don't have to worry about like weaving in ends with a flat piece, and it just gives it a little bit more dimension to have that double layer. It looks great. It just turned out so good. So Just Yarny, Baby Mimikyu free pattern on her coffee shop, and she has several other free ones on there, and then some more for sale. But they're all just top tier, very good. This one's going to be 45 as well, which is great because it just fits right in with all of my other Pokemon designs that I sell. I don't. I tend to try to keep them all within specific price ranges. So I have little ones that are like 25, and then I have the medium-sized ones like this that are 45, and then I'll go into the bigger ones, but they're more like the showpiece ones. So I have like a big sleeping Bulbasaur that's 85. I had, but need to make more because I sold them at my last Comic Con. A big Charizard Snuggler that was 85, a Mew that was 85. So like I usually try to keep a couple big showpiece Pokemons for these types of shows that are 85. But the majority of them fall right into the $45 range because this is like the perfect huggable size. This is what sells the fastest. Usually for me is this size. I do sell a lot of the $25 ones too. So speaking of $25, let's get into the littler Pokemon, the ones that I made from my own patterns. So this first guy I don't have a pattern written up for him. I mean, I wrote it down as I was going, but it's going to need some tweaking. He's not ready yet. But I made a baby Gengar. And I just think he turned out really cute. He's just round and chubby, and I like his little back spikes. All of this is no-so. So the ears were surface crocheted, and then all of the like head spikes, like these tufts, I want to move up a row so they're a little bit higher, I think. So these head tufts and these back spikes were all crocheted in the round, and then the feet and arms are bobbles, and then those are surface crocheted. So this is going to be a $25 one. And yeah, I just think he's cute. I think he turned out really cute. I'm going to tweak this pattern a little bit more, and then probably have this coming out. Maybe I'll do a free pattern of this one on Instagram, because the rest of them are paid pattern that I just released. So maybe this guy will be a free one. We'll see. But let's go ahead and tag him up, and we'll talk about the rest of them. The rest of them are all part of a pattern bundle that I just came out with this week that I'm super excited about. I've made some. I've been working on them for a few weeks now. So I had made some and had them at other shows already, and I've already sold almost all of the first set that I made, the prototypes for these guys. So they're definitely doing well. All right, the baby Gengar, 25. Now the rest of these guys all also 25, but let's just start in order. So these are my miniature, low-so, market-friendly elemental foxes. So this is Little Fox, obviously inspired by Eevee. And this is almost no-sew. The only thing you sew on for any of these guys usually is the ears and the tail. And that's just, they're only like 4 stitches around by the time you get to sewing them. So very easy, very quick. Maybe 6, might be 6 stitches around, but very quick, easy sew on. And I think they just turn out, they're just like the perfect little palm-sized guys. And this is with, they're all with Burnout Blanket and Premier Basics Chenille Brights. So blanket yarn, size 6 yarn, size 6 hook, which is my preferred method with this size yarn. I just love them. So $25 on these guys. This is Little Fox. Next, I have Splash Fox, based on Vaporeon. So here's a few more things that you sew on. The tail. This is probably the most complicated one of them all because of the way that the tail goes. You make each, they sort of look like puzzles, but you make each fin separately, and then you connect them together. And then at the top of the fin, you go 3 stitches in like a front row kind of situation, and then you turn around the back and do another 3 stitches so that you turn it into a 6 that goes around in a circle. I should probably eventually make a video showing that. I have photos in the pattern. I don't have a video for that yet, but I should make a video to go with the pattern. But this is Splash Fox. And you can tell that they all have kind of a similar body shape. They all start with the same like base body, and then I changed up the accessories so that they all fit together in a series, but they are all clearly what they are. So that's Splash Fox. Next we have Flame Fox. Is that what I called him? Flame Fox, Fire Fox. I changed it a few times. I think it's Flame Fox. So Flareon. You sew on the ears, the tail, and the little head fluff. And I just love these guys. I think they turned out so cute, and I really hope you guys like them too. They are available on my website. Oh, and they're my first pattern to be exclusively on my website. So they're not on Etsy, they're not on Coffee, they're not on Palm Street. They are just on my website. So if you guys want them, that's where you go. And you can get them all separately, or there's a bundle with all of them. Okay, so then the next one is Shock Fox. So this is Shock Fox, Jolteon, obviously. This one is a little bit different than the others because he's got, instead of a tail, he has like these spiky fluffs that come out his side and another spiky ruff that goes along the back. This is surface crocheted in. These spikes are worked in the round, and then the ears are sewed on. So that's really the only thing you sew on with this one is the ears. So it's a little bit simpler than some of the others, but I love the way he turned out. Okay, so that was Shock Fox. Next, we have Forest Fox, which is Leafy on. So he has ears and tail and little head leaf that gets sewn on. And then the rest is baubles, color changes in the baubles. Okay, after Forest Fox, we have Ice Fox, Blizzard Fox. Blizzard Fox. You sew on her ears and her tail, and then the crown is surface crocheted. So that's Blizzard Fox. Then we have Psychic Fox. This one's, I love this one. I mean, I like them all. I love them all, obviously, but I love my little Psychic Fox. So this is Psychic Fox. You see her ears are a little different. She has little danglies on her ears, and then her tail is surface crocheted instead of sewn on. After Psychic Fox, we have Night Fox. This is my favorite of the evolutions in general. Not necessarily my favorite of the ones I made, but my favorite of the evolutions. So Night Fox, Umbreon. I'm thinking I might do a video making shiny versions of all these guys, but I don't know yet if I have all the right color yarn to do all of them, so I'll have to find out. But there's Night Fox. And then last, we have Fairy Fox. And again, her tail, I think is, if I remember right, is crocheted in, surface crochet. The little bows are separate and they are glued on or sewn on, whichever you prefer. So there's a little bit extra making for those, but they're small. They don't take very long. So that's my guys. Oh, let's see if I can. I can't. There's no way I can display them all. There's too many. And I need to put tags on all of them. But so these guys, like I said, are available exclusively on my website. And they're all available as separate patterns or a pattern pack with all of them together, which would be a little bit cheaper. If you want all of them, it's cheaper to buy the pack than it is to buy each of them individually. There's no way I'm not going to get all these in my arms. There they are. Okay, let me make some tags, please, guys. I had one of my friends helping me pattern test these, and she had so much fun making all of them. She made them like within minutes of me posting the design, the Canva link for her. So they're fast. They all work up really fast. I think I can make one in about 30 minutes, which is great for market makes, which is what I wanted them for. I wanted them for market makes. And hopefully I'll have some more designs coming out, like that little Gengar. I'll get him worked up. I'm trying to be better about designing more things and writing down what I do. I'll have to show you a picture because there was one more make I made this week that I did not show you because it was a custom order and I've already given it to the customer. But I'll try to insert. Let me move over a little bit, give some space to insert a picture. And it was for a Sonic doll. And I looked around for patterns, but didn't really see one that I liked. She was picking up a lot of the Madeline Mako dolls while she was in the booth and exclaiming over those, really liking those. So I wanted to do that sort of wobbly leg shape for him. But I just wasn't finding that in a pattern that I liked online. So I decided to make my own. So it is inspired by the Madeline Mako body shape, but it obviously does not copy her shape at all. It is my own shape. but I liked the wobbly legs, so I used that. And then I gave it a, more pointed sort of rodent face because he is a hedgehog, which I don't think are exactly classified as rodents, but they're kind of cousins. And lots of color changes. It does have some sewing. I crocheted in the legs and the arms, but then of course the nose is like just the shape of the head. You sew the head onto the body. That was the only way I could really do that to get that shape the way I wanted it to with the nose. So you sew the head onto the body. And then, of course, you sew on the ears and the individual spikes on the back of his head, but they're all fairly small and didn't take me very long to sew. So I'm not going to call him like a low sew because he does have a good bit of sewing, but I would say it's still pretty beginner friendly, maybe intermediate. It's an intermediate pattern. And I did write it down as I went. So eventually I will make another one and take some more photos as I go and work out the kinks on the pattern. So that'll be another one that'll be coming out. Will be what do they call them? Speed Demon. A Speed Demon pattern based on Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, trying to do better, trying to come out with more patterns and things. Because I need to have some more diversity. This sort of business. Let's just talk business for a minute. This sort of business does not fail really past a certain point because there's only ever going to be a finite number of things that I can make in a week. So a purely handmade, purely physical product based business, there's only so many things that you can make in a week. And even if you're looking at 3D printing stuff and you're working on a 3D print farm, now that does exponentially increase the number of things that you can make in a week, but you're still stuck within finite limits. If you're a small business person and you don't have like a warehouse full of print machines, you're kind of stuck with how many machines can you keep in your house or your shed or your garage or wherever you're holding these things, and how many things can they have running on them at any given time. So it's finite. There's a cap to how many things, physical products, can be made each week, and because of that there's then a physical cap on how many things can be sold each week. So your income is capped out with a physical business like this. So you need to be able to diversify your income as much as possible. If you're looking to make this into, I don't want to say real job because this is a real job, but a more traditional job replacement. If you're wanting to be able to work for yourself, to work from home, then just hand making everything is usually not going to cut it. It's just usually not. You're just usually not going to be able to make enough things to replace an income from a standard sort of job. So diversify. And that's where digital files come in. And that's probably one of the most important ways that you can diversify, is to have some sort of completely passive income, usually in the form of digital files. So in my case, it'd be crochet patterns. For other people, it might be SVG files that people can use on their Cricuts, or STL files that they can use on their 3D print machines, things like that. But if it's a digital file, you make it once, and usually you're making it, designing it because it's something you want or need anyway, and you want to use. And once you've made it and you've got your file ready, then you can upload it to a website to sell, and it's just there, and you don't have to make it anymore. People just download it. They purchase it, they download it. The beauty of that is in two things. You can price it pretty low because you only had to make it the one time. And so it very quickly recoups whatever cost went into it in the form of time spent creating it, designing it. If it's something you're using for yourself anyway, then you probably wouldn't even have counted that time because you needed it for yourself anyway. And every purchase made after that first few that recoups your time is just straight profit because there's no more materials involved. There's no more time involved in it. It's just a digital file up there on the internet that gets automatically downloaded when they purchase and send money to your bank account. So I am going to be trying to have more patterns out. I have several out, but I'm not nearly as prolific a pattern designer as some others that I've seen out there. Madeline Mako comes to mind as an extreme example. She comes out with 6 or more patterns a month. That girl is a machine. She's incredible. I don't know how she does it. And it's not just like the same exact thing every time. It's a very similar body style because that's her style. But that's one of the things a lot of us love about her style is that it is the same. But it's, a different character, a different creature every time. You're not just getting the same exact thing over and over and over again. Her creativity is boundless. It's amazing. Jenna is another one that comes to mind that as a more prolific pattern designer, she comes out with a minimum of 2 patterns every month, and a lot of times is coming out with more than that. And not too long ago, she wrote a book for the first time. You can buy it on Amazon, and it's full of patterns that she wrote. So I'm not what I would call a prolific pattern designer. I need to step up my game, though. I do need to do more pattern designing, and it's really more of a mindset shift for me because I do a lot of customizing on pretty much all the patterns that I use anyway. So that's just one step below completely making the pattern myself. You know what I mean? And in a lot of cases, the customization that I do basically is making my own pattern because there's only so many ways you can make a shape. So even if another designer has made this shape the way that I'm making it, there's probably at least 4 more that also have because there's only so many ways to make a shape. Not that I would ever want to just straight copy pieces of somebody else's pattern, but if I'm making a ball the same way that somebody else is making a ball, I don't see that as being a problem. So yeah, I need to pay more attention to like when I'm customizing, when I'm changing, and then change it more and work it out until it's completely unique, or I mean, as unique as I can make it, as different as I can make it from other people's. Because again, I don't usually want to just, unless it's like the Pokemon, because that's a recognizable character. I'm not usually just trying to just straight make what someone else has designed. I usually like putting my own twist on it and changing things up a little bit and making it a little bit more my own. So I just need to take that a step further and, make the whole pattern. Well, I have tagged everything and shown you all my week's makes. The only thing I haven't shown you is the one I lost yarn chicken on, which I can show you, but it's not ready to tag, obviously. So I have, there's dust on that one. I have 4 limbs. And then I have a head. And I'm sure you can tell what this is going to be. But then I ran out of black. So I gotta go buy some more black yarn so I can finish this guy off before Comic-Con. And I'll probably show him in a future video when I get him fully completed. So that's it. That's all of them. You guys have watched me tag stuff. We've talked about patterns. I showed you my new pattern. And I hope that you will go check it out on my website. And I really, really hope that if you guys decide to buy it and make it, that you'll tag me in your make so I can see all your little Eevee armies. And that's all I have for today. I have some plans, some things I need to get to. So I actually need to wrap this up and head out for the day. But I'm so glad that you came with me today just for this quiet little Sunday morning chat. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.